Court is in session in cause number 331024. The case is style of State of Texas versus David Allen McDonald. Mr. McDonald, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McDonald, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. McDonald, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McDonald, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. McDonald?
Good.
That's good. Now, Mr. McDonald, you're entitled to have a record. That is, you're entitled to have a court reporter to type up everything that is being said in this case. You also have a right to waive or give up your right to have a record. Do you waive a record?
Do a waiver record?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. McDonald, I have before me a document that is titled information. And in this document, Mr. McDonald, it alleges that on or about September 26th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2A. Mr. McDonald, you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. McDonald, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest.
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McDonald, I have before me another document. In this document, Mr. McDonald, hold on a minute. Tablet is acting up. Let's see. This tablet is acting up. I need another tablet. For some reason, this one is.
It's not full.
No, and it says something, there's some problem. MISD, oh, wait a minute. Let me try this. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, this one is.
Okay.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes, sir.
I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. McDonald, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. McDonald, there are a set of initials on a line. Are these your initials? Yeah, the set of initials on two lines. The first set of initials is on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. So you place your initials on this document.
Yes, sir.
And the second set of initials is the lower paragraph on a line next to on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery. In this case, to choose to enter a plea of guilty and no contest.
Yes, sir.
Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the third page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McDonald also have two other documents. First document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights of Defendants Without an Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled
Yes.
defendant? And are these your initials on the line stating that I want to waive my right to attorney and represent myself?
Yes, sir.
And the next document is a waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's
Yes,
titled
sir.
defendant? Now, Mr. McDonald, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I've just mentioned, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me, State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McDonald, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State's Exhibit number 1 is the document that you acknowledge your initials on page 2
Yes, sir.
and your signature on page 3. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in this case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case?
Yes.
Okay, no objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. McDonald, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
I have no evidence.
Okay, so you are mentally competent to stand trial. You understand what's going on?
Yes, I'm doing trial for my possession.
Right, and so you don't have any mental issues that are affecting your ability to understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. McDonald, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you're mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
2 days jail. Mr. McDonald has 2 days credit. Court cost to be taxed at retirement.
Okay, Mr. McDonald, state is offering that you serve 2 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you have already served 2 days in jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $292, but you will not have to pay the court cost in this case because the state is taxing and retiring the court costs.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. McDonald, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. McDonald, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. McDonald, please stand on the X, and right here, the X right there. You're gonna stand and follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day and Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you.
Mr. McDonald, can I get your right thumbprint? Where you're right. Okay, you're welcome.
See if we can get this on the docket so I can dismiss it.
Trina, I think he said he needs something on the docket.
Yes, ma'am. What was the, this
We're in session in cause number 325960, case of style of State of Texas versus Sherry Ellen Raleigh. We have Ms. Raleigh present in court. Your full name is Sherry Ellen Raleigh?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Raleigh, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Raleigh, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Raleigh, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Raleigh? That's good. Ms. Raleigh, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Wright Kimler. Attorney Kimler, how are you doing?
Fine, Your Honor, thank you.
That's good. Mr. Kimler, do you waive a record in Ms. Raleigh's case?
We do.
Ms. Raleigh, I have before me information that alleges that on or about February 11 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offensive theft. Ms. Raleigh, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Ms. Raleigh, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Yes.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Raleigh, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Raleigh, there's a set of initials, CR, on the line next to a
Yes, sir.
box that says check guilty. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Also, on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
Ms. Raleigh, there are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Raleigh, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Riley, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
State, I have before me state's exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer states 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection.
Okay, no objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Kimler, you've advised and counseled Ms. Riley. Is there any evidence that she is currently admittedly incompetent to stand trial?
There's no evidence.
Ms. Riley, your attorney, Mr. Kimler, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Riley, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you're mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargaining agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
6 days county jail. Miss Riley has 6 days credit for time served, so court costs to be taxed and retired.
Ms. Riley, the state is offering that you serve 6 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 6 days. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $412, but you will not have to pay the court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, you'll be given, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Ms. Riley, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Riley, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Riley, you'll stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our court clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I was just looking at
Thank
the
you.
back of my head. That's weird. Look, I thought gray hair.
Of course, back in session on the course of Raymond docket. We now go our bond forfeitures. First case is cause number 325532. Case is style of state of Texas versus Diego Zampaganza. I see it says something about ICE custody. Do we know anything about that? It says, that's on the docket sheet, but he was out on the cash bond. Mr. Diego Zampaganza was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's arraignment docket, which was scheduled at 9 a.m. on today's date of December 14th of 2021. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called Mr. Diego Zampaganza's name at the courthouse door, and Diego Zampaganza did not answer. Diego Zampaganza did not appear in court for the arraignment. The time now is 11:30 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Diego Zampaganza? Okay, Diego Zampaganza's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. He did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Diego Zampaganza an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
They move for a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. Diego Zampaganza's bond will be forfeited and the warrant shall be issued for his arrest and cause number 325532. The next case on the court's docket is cause number 330802. Case is style of state of Texas versus Kendra Monet Kelly. Kendra Kelly was scheduled to be in court for the court's arraignment docket at 9 a.m. At or about 9 a.m., Kendra Kelly's name was called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Kendra Kelly did not answer. Kendra Kelly has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. The time now is 11:31 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Kendra Kelly?
No response.
Kendra Kelly's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Kendra Kelly did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Kelly an opportunity to appear in court. She has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor. State would move for a bond forfeiture.
That motion will be granted. Kendra Kelly's bond will be forfeited and the warrant should be issued for the rest in cause number 330802. Next case is cause numbers 331018 and cause number 331020. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Gary Wright. Gary Wright was scheduled to be in court this morning for the court's arraignment docket, which was scheduled at 9 a.m. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called Gary Wright's name at the courthouse door. Gary Wright did not answer. Gary Wright has not appeared in court during the arraignment. The time now is 11:32 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Gary Wright?
No response.
Gary Wright's name was just called again by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Gary Wright did not answer. Gary Wright has not appeared in court while the court was in session. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Wright an opportunity to appear in court. State, you have a motion?
State would request a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
Gary Wright's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest and cause numbers 331018 and cause number 331020. Next case is cause number 331032. The case is style, the state of Texas versus Yalton Gallo. Yalton Gallo was scheduled to be in court for the court's arraignment docket, which was scheduled at 9 a.m. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called Yalton Gallo's name at the courthouse door. Yalton Gallo did not answer. Yalton Gallo has not appeared in court while the court's been in session. The time now is 11:33 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Yalton Gallo?
No response.
Yalton Gallo's name was just called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. and Yalton Gallo did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Gallo an opportunity to appear in court. Mr. Gallo has not appeared. State, do we have a motion?
The state would request a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
That motion will be granted. Yalton Gallo's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest in cause number 331032. Next case is cause number 331058. State of Texas, the case is styled State of Texas versus Ashland Elizabeth Ortiz. Ashland Elizabeth Ortiz was scheduled to be in court for the court's arraignment docket at 9 a.m. At or about 9 a.m. Ashton Ortiz's name was called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. Ashton Ortiz did not answer. Ashton Ortiz has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 11:34 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Ashland Ortiz? Ashland Ortiz's name was just called by the court's bailiff. Ashland Ortiz did not answer. Reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Ashland Ortiz an opportunity to appear in court. She has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
State would request a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
A motion will be granted. Ashland Ortiz bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for the rest in clause number 331058. And this will conclude the calling of the court's arraignment docket, which was scheduled for 9 a.m. on today's date of December 14th of 2021 in County Court at Law number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. Everyone